Hey. Time for another out-of-this-world story from rSpace. Trust gets chipped away, excuses pile up, and before you know it, someone's tracking a car at 3 a.m. and uncovering secrets they never wanted to find. Today on rSpace, is light affair a real category or just a desperate excuse? Let's talk about that. Up first, at what point do you realize the person you loved is willing to risk everything for a lie? My psychotherapist wife is having an affair with a client. Hello, Reddit. I, 44 male, have been married to my wife, 46 female, for 22 years, and we have 3 children, 11 female, 15 female, 20 male. In 2022, I asked for a divorce and moved out of our home, but I never followed through with the paperwork. Instead, we started dating again for a year and a half, trying to rebuild our relationship. Things were going well, until a little less than a year ago, when she started growing distant. She's a psychotherapist specializing in DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, and told me she was overwhelmed with high-needs clients. I took her at her word. That is, until one night when I saw her parked outside a random apartment complex at 3 a.m. She was borrowing my Tesla at the time, and I noticed her location through the car's tracking widget. When I confronted her, she claimed she was just visiting a friend, though this was extremely out of character for her. Red flags went up immediately. I pressed her for details, and she eventually told me that it was a new friend from work. They were supposed to meet earlier, but plans got mixed up and they ended up hanging out late. In our marriage, we've always allowed close friendships with the opposite sex, but we never had an open relationship. Still, something felt very off. She was evasive when I asked more questions, but after a week, she finally gave me his name. She admitted the situation looked bad, agreed it was inappropriate, and said she wouldn't see him outside of work anymore. That was in early May 2024. Fast forward a few weeks to early June, I discovered she had gone back to his place, staying at until 6 a.m. When I confronted her again, she insisted he was just a friend, claiming she had too much to drink and fell asleep on his couch. I challenged her. Instead of giving me real answers, she said she needed space and asked me to leave her alone for a week. I wasn't convinced. During that week, I did some digging and found the guy's Instagram, phone number, and address. I reached out, thinking that if he was truly just a friend, he wouldn't want things to be misconstrued. His response? He called me a little witch and told me to go away. That reaction only confirmed my suspicions. So, I decided to visit his apartment to talk face to face. When he came downstairs, he got right in my face, repeating the same insults and cursing me out. I kept my cool and calmly asked what was going on with my wife. He refused to answer and eventually called the police. But after getting off the phone, he shoved me to the ground. Assault? I had no interest in escalating things, so I left. I told my wife that I knew something was going on based on his reaction. That's when she finally admitted to a light affair, claiming it wasn't physical, just some innocent meme sharing and fun conversations. I was devastated, but she insisted I was overreacting and blowing things out of proportion. The aftermath. Over the next couple of months, we continued talking, trying to figure out if our relationship could be saved. We went to music festivals, spent time together, and were frequently intimate. It almost felt like we were rebuilding something. Then, in August, she bought her own Tesla. While I was helping her set up her account, she suddenly went silent when she realized I could see her car's location, just like she could see mine. I told her I had nothing to hide, but she insisted on separate accounts. Another red flag. The very next night, I drove by his apartment. Sure enough, her car was parked right outside. I texted both of them, asking her to come out and talk. She refused. I went home to wait for her. While I was there, I had a strange feeling and decided to check her room. I'm not proud of this next part, but I found a journal sitting out on her work table. I took it and read it. That's when I discovered the truth. The guy she was seeing wasn't just some random friend. He was one of her DBT clients, a man with BPD, borderline personality disorder. Her journal detailed therapy sessions lasting 4, 5, even 6 hours. She wrote about inappropriate physical contact, kissing, dry humping, and discussions about sexual topics. She described their deep emotional connection, fantasizing about a life with him while also wrestling with guilt and shame. She knew she was risking everything to be with him, and yet she couldn't stop. When she got home, I confronted her. She broke down, begging me not to report her to the Board of Behavioral Health. I left around 2 a.m. and immediately scheduled a session with my own therapist that morning to process everything. Turns out, all therapists are mandatory reporters when it comes to ethical breaches. My therapist reported her. The investigation. An investigation was launched and I was contacted by the Attorney General's office to give a sworn statement. I kept my testimony vague. I didn't want to be vindictive, so I told them I wouldn't provide photos of her journal unless subpoenaed. I also convinced my wife to self-report, which she did. The investigation is ongoing, and I assume they're auditing her client records and conducting interviews, but I have no insight until the final report is made public. Meanwhile, our marriage is officially over. We are deep into the divorce process. In retaliation, she took out her harassment restraining order against me for stealing her journal and bombarding her with texts asking why she did this. Still, I occasionally get a gut feeling that she's still seeing him, and every time I check, I'm right. Her car is still parked outside his place at night. She continues to risk everything: her career, her reputation, our family. Moving forward. As for me, I've been focusing on healing. I'm seeing my therapist regularly and staying steady on my meds. This has been incredibly difficult to process, which is why I decided to write all of it out here. But I have learned a lot and have grown immensely since the greatest thing I learned is of my own self-worth and what I am worthy of. Surprisingly, it feels a little cathartic to write this. Thanks for reading and offering any support. Let's see what kind of support the community does have to offer. First up, my wife and I were friends with a long married couple who were highly regarded in our community. They did spiritually oriented holiday events that drew dozens of people. He was a therapist at a local agency. He fell in love with one of his clients, a woman. His wife initiated divorce proceedings and the agency reported him to the Professional State Disciplinary Board. 6 months later, he lost his license, was unemployed for a year until he finally got hired at a retail store clerk where I still see him and make small talk. His family abandoned him. He broke up with the client soon after divorce was put into motion. Someone else chimes in. If your future girlfriend or wife's suspected affair partner insults you, whether in person or online, and she continues to engage with him, that relationship is already beyond repair. It sounds like she has her own mental issues. Also, don't ever let anyone shove you or belittle you. Your soon-to-be ex is a moron for still seeing this A-hat, and you're better off without her. She's throwing her career and life away over a maniac. How someone so smart can be so stupid is astounding. The fact that she kept doubling down, even after getting caught multiple times, just shows that she was never going to stop. And the whole light affair excuse? Is that really a thing? Don't think so. She knew exactly what she was doing, and the worst part is, she didn't even respect you enough to lie convincingly. What's the biggest red flag you ignored in a relationship, and how did it come back to bite you? Up next, 2 years of lies, a secret second life, and now OP's cheating spouse is acting like she's the problem for wanting out. Husband of 5 years had 2-year-long affair. I'm 32 female. Husband is 34 male. This might be long. Sorry in advance. We've been together basically our entire adult life. Together 13 years, married almost 5. In April, I found messages on his phone because I had a gut feeling. It was sporadic and looked like some were deleted, but it wasn't good. I also found Instagram messages between him and this girl that involved videos of marriage proposal ideas and things related to marriage. Now, this girl has been a problem for a very long time. She knew he was married basically, and I was always uncomfortable with it, and come to find out I was right. In May, I had the courage to message her to find out more. Turns out they've been together for 2-ish years. It went deep and personal to him, having met her family and child. No one from his family knew, and none of our friends knew. It was absolutely devastating. The lies he told her were pathological level, from telling her we were divorced, he wasn't living with me when he was, making up court dates, etc. I felt like I married a stranger. To now, this has been an incredibly difficult summer. When I found out initially he was defensive and cruel, and I stupidly gave him a chance to end it with her in front of me, and he didn't take it. It blew up when others found out, especially his family, whom I'm extremely close to more so than him. They were ready to disown him. After the detailed information of the affair I found out, and his parents confronted him, he asked for forgiveness. His mistress sent me messages between them at the same time of him basically still going on with the lie, saying they're strong together and begging her. We were all in shock. A couple weeks later, he went into therapy and was acting like that didn't happen, and it was because he was confused because of an uproar. I was obviously so hurt because I gave up everything for him. From June and on, he got into therapy and has been trying to change, yet there's really been no action on his part. I felt so conflicted because I gave up so much for him, and I'm so close to his family, it's like I'm losing everything, and I feel cultural pressure to stay, and also not look like an idiot to my family that didn't want me to marry him, because of religion, not his personality. I thought I wanted to work it out, but he's barely done anything to show me he's progressing and showing ways he would rebuild trust. I'm sick of giving him instruction manuals and him not doing anything. He's spiraling because he's embarrassed, and I'm annoyed he keeps putting his mental health and emotions on me when this was self-inflicted and I didn't ask for it. He says he wants to work at it and give me everything I ever wanted, but shouldn't I have had that from the beginning? It's such a deep, evil betrayal he's not fully acknowledging. To come home to me every day for years while doing that. I think I want to move forward with divorce despite wanting family together, but I feel like I'll also be a disappointment to everyone and my parents who will say, I told you so. I don't know anything else besides him, as we've been together for so long and so many things are tied together. I wish I could move on and try, but I feel like I'll never stop thinking about it and how deep it went. Or how long it would have gone on had I not found out. I feel like I know what's best, but when I see or talk to him, I waver because of history and family. Has anyone been able to stop the constant thoughts of it and the scenarios replaying in their minds? Or if anyone has actually reconciled after something like this, is it even possible? Update. First thing, I wanted to thank everyone for the comments and support. You really gave me strength to come to a decision, and I appreciate you all. For the update, I'm officially at 6 months separation and will hopefully be filing soon. My soon-to-be ex is doubling down and has made what should have been an easy process into a difficult one. I did one round of couples therapy with him because I wanted a neutral party to get my statements across. He, of course, didn't like being called out. I now have tried to get to an agreement on our home, but he only wants to talk about saving the marriage. He is now being hostile and refuses to talk about selling. He believes I owe him or need to give him a chance, and I need to take ownership of my part in this and listen to his feelings. He believes cheating is a two-way street. I had a lawyer on retainer, thankfully, and I'm hoping she can help now force the divorce. I'm a little scared as I live in the home and he has access still and he doesn't leave when asked. I wish I could leave so he wouldn't know where I am and can be free, but financially I have nowhere to go while still being responsible for mortgage. When he left the house after our conversation, I found a hole in the wall. He said he tripped down the stairs and that happened. I'm a little scared and went back to my parents' house, who were supportive despite me thinking they wouldn't be. He apologized earlier today for how the conversation went and wants to talk again. But at this point, what else is there to say? I don't know why I have so much anxiety and why I start feeling bad and like I'm making a mistake by divorcing him even though I've decided to already. I'm just scared of everything and he doesn't know I left the house. I miss my home and my bed and my comfort. I really wanted this to be amicable and I'm still hoping he will, but who knows? My lawyer is planning on serving him soon if he doesn't cooperate, which will cause a storm. I feel so lost and wish he could just be respectful of the decision like he said he would be in the beginning. Update. It's been a few months since my last update. Since then, a lot has happened, so let's get into it. After much back and forth, I finally had the divorce filed in January, and we are in the process of selling our home. It's been extremely hard letting go of the house since it was bought in 2019 at a low real interest rate. I'm afraid I'll never have an opportunity to own again, but I don't really have an option. Our agreement states that I will receive more equity, which is at least a plus. Prior to filing, he wasn't signing papers. I hired a PI to get any evidence of adultery that I could use to file a fault divorce if he hadn't agreed. The PI found he was living with his mistress the entire time we were separated. This includes during the time he was wanting to reconcile, and we had one therapy session. So I was definitely shocked and disgusted. He also took a trip with her during this time where he was telling others he was going with me. Again, disgusting. He's been actively, even since filing and agreeing to divorce, trying to find ways to reconcile with me. I have been thoroughly confused since he's still with her and has been seen out with her. He denies everything though, even with proof. He keeps sending me messages and trying to have conversations about working it out, getting married, doing whatever to be with me again, and won't leave me alone. I don't understand why he keeps trying with me while still living and with the affair partner and denying it to everyone. The house is the last thing tying me to him, and I feel like he's prolonging the process on purpose. I wanted to keep the house, but I think it's easier to just let it go at this point and be rid of him. I don't understand his motivations and all of the things he's doing. He insists he's changed and says he's been in therapy and on medications, but has threatened to harm himself when things don't go his way, which he backtracked on immediately once police were mentioned. He can't take no for an answer from me, even though he's still with her. It feels traumatizing for him to be saying all these things to me when he should have tried before and not now. But again, he's still with her. This is crazy, and sometimes I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about everything happening. I'm just tired. The fact that he's living with his affair partner while acting like you're the unreasonable one? Honestly, that says everything. He continues to show you exactly who he is. He didn't trip and fall into another relationship for 2 years while lying about divorce and court dates. That was a choice. A series of them, actually. Selling the house is tough, but it's also a fresh start. Once it's done, you won't have to deal with him anymore. And that freedom is going to feel so much better than staying tied to someone that only brings stress. You're making the right moves here, OP. Have you ever had someone try to manipulate you into staying in a situation you knew was toxic? How did you break free? And thank you for joining us today on rSpace. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time.